So many whose first love was hooping, whether locking down or spotting up and shooting, driving down the lane or crossing up and fooling, and never overlooking the hard work or schooling. Look, whether we talking about legends or talking current, don't never take for granted that all of them put the work in. No love on this court, despite the X and O's. Gotta play the game as if everything is old. Play until you tired, but don't let your weakness show. It's a game within a game, unlike what you've seen before.
Kurt Flirt in the building. I'm here with Game Within the Game podcast, and we got
your boy Ty Sullivan.
And today we're gonna discuss some current news. We got Kyrie Irving. Are you familiar with the situation?
Yeah. It's a popular topic right now. It's drawing headlines right now on every major platform, network.
Well, let me inform the individuals out there that may not know about the situation. We got Kyrie Irving. That's certain games he's actually required to have a vaccine. That's in cities like New York, San Francisco, etc. But he's refusing to take these vaccines. And now it resorted to him not playing the whole season. A lot of people are outraged. A lot of people are in support. It's one of those lines in the sand situations. So, with that being said, I want to know, how would this affect the basketball community, knowing that there is a line in the sand as far as vaccinating and unvaccinated players playing the game of basketball, and how that would affect everybody concerned. So we have Ty Sullivan, you know what I mean, head coach of I would say a pretty good basketball team.
Okay. Making some noise.
But I want to know how that would affect not only the high school level, but the college level and the professional level when it comes to being vaccinated and unvaccinated. What's your thoughts on this?
It's interesting because right now we're just dealing with L.A., New York, and what's the other state? I'm not sure that have mandates for venues, large venues and restaurants who are actually. And that's the issue with Kyrie. It's not that the league is mandating it. New York is mandating the vaccine. I think as other establishments, I hope they don't. But if they start to do it, it's going to cause a problem, because now we're talking about taking away someone's rights, the right to choose what you can do with your body. You know, what to put in your body, and now we're throwing dollar signs in front of it. And this is you're really going to test people and see what they're made of, what they stand for. Myself personally, I haven't been vaccinated. I'm not confident in the vaccine right now. It's just too early for me. I try to be as safe as possible. But if I had to choose between keeping my job right now and getting a vaccine, I'll quit the job. You know, that's just the type of person I am. I'll get the money somewhere else. It's just my choice, you know. I do have respect for the people who choose to, you know, get the vaccine to keep their lifestyle, to keep, you know, roof over their head, and nothing against them people as well. I'm not saying they're sellouts or they're suckers or anything like that. You got to do what you got to do. It's really a personal choice, and I think that's where people are kind of like, people are forgetting that right now. Like, we're getting lost in, you know, what he does and the money he makes and some of the other stances that he's had on other issues. And it's really just about him making a personal choice about what he wants to put in his body. A choice that he had, that he rightfully has, so, you know.
I'll even look at it, even if it's not a situation where he's actually concerned about the vaccination, even if he is clout chasing, it's one of those situations where
he got a legitimate clout chase.
First and foremost, it is a situation where we've created a situation where it's even a discussion.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So this guy is saying, "Hey, I don't want to take this vaccine." Now, the publicity that's coming with this is actually worth $17 million to me. If you're looking at it as a business guy, I'm looking at it like, yo, from what he can actually snowball with this whole situation is actually going to make him more than $17 million if he's smart. But I personally don't think it's one of those clout chasing situations. I think Kyrie has a stance and he's sticking to it, and I could never knock a situation like that. And I even go back to historical in like basketball community, like we talk about what's my man from Denver?
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Yes.
Chris Jackson.
Yes, Chris Jackson. I think he should be cemented in history for taking his stance. You understand what I'm saying? I think Muhammad Ali should be cemented in history for taking a stance. I think these individuals should be cemented in history for taking these stances of just basic human rights.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And for those individuals criticizing them, I've said publicly, right, that those individuals that are criticizing Kyrie Irving, and you know what I mean, they would have criticized Chris Jackson, they would have criticized Martin Luther King, they would have criticized Malcolm X. I think those individuals are the selfish individuals, and those individuals actually don't stand for much.
They don't. And look. Chris Jackson's starting to get his roses now.
Yeah.
But in that moment,
Craig Hodges too. Don't let me forget about Craig Hodges.
And in those moments, like, people looked at them like they were crazy. Now, just think about like going into like the early 90s, mid 90s. They weren't making as much as they're making now. Sports wasn't looked at as that big of a thing. You know, guys on Wall Street were making more than guys playing, you know, professional sports, you know, the average Wall Street worker. So it was different. Now everything, like, these guys, and you could credit LeBron to it, they use their platform. There's more Chris Jacksons, you know. He was just one guy. Craig Hodges was just one guy. They stood up, so they were outnumbered when it came to them taking a stance. Now, you know, you have multiple guys. If you look at Kyrie, he's a guy that's always done this. So I don't look at it as clout chasing. I don't look at him as being like a distraction or anything like that. I'm pretty sure those guys were told, like he said in his live last night, that they wouldn't have to take a vaccine if it, you know, it ever came to that. He kind of said that. But it wasn't the league. It's not the league doing this. This is New York. I think a lot of these mandates are going to get pushed back at some point. I think it's early and it's to scare people. It's the scare tactic. All right, I'm going to take your job. I'm going to take your employment. Boom. All right, we got enough people to do it. All right, let's pull back a little bit. All right. Because we can't forget, everybody had to work through this shit with the first year.
And then,
you know?
And they were called, medical professionals were called heroes.
Yeah, you just seen the hearts in the doors. We put one in our doors.
I remember seeing big billboards calling them heroes for actually putting their lives on the line. Now they're villains.
Yeah, and it's crazy. That's how fast the world can change on you. Like, it's just like that. Now nurses are selfish. They need to do their job. They need to think about, you know, the oath they took and all that. They were in there not knowing if they were going to contract this virus, not knowing if, you know, some died, some, you know, got sick, brought it home, got others sick. Like, they didn't have to take a vaccine. Now they have to take the vaccine. After we've experienced it, we've worked through it, and I think they probably mastered how to deal with it better than anybody, because the people are coming to them. So they know how to have the proper PPE and all that stuff to put on to protect themselves. Now you're making them take the vaccine. And if they don't, those same heroes are getting fired. That's crazy. That's ridiculous, man.
And I think it's ridiculous, but I think there's other people outside of, you know what I mean, our frame of thought that think it's not ridiculous. And I don't knock them at all.
I mean,
To a certain extent.
I don't knock them.
To a certain
I don't
extent.
knock them, but there's always gonna be certain type of people, man. You look left, they're gonna look right. That's just. I believe I'm a good coach, right? I believe the success that I have since I've been at West Haven is something that hasn't been done in a while. But there's a population of people who think I don't know what I'm doing, no matter how much success I have. That's just what it is, and I'm never gonna please those people. I'm never gonna even try to please them. So that's why, like, I don't know if you notice, even on social media, I don't even partake in like debates anymore, like, because it just drains me, man. Like, I'm real passionate about what I believe in. And some people just go left because you're going right, and I don't even want to give those people my attention. Like, you like debating and shit. It's fun to you. You know what I mean? You like pushing the envelope. You like just, and people don't even realize some of the stuff you're doing. Like, you're getting them actually to elaborate on things a lot, to kind of explain things more. They don't even realize it, and they just want to prove you wrong sometimes. So,
well, no, I think that's what it is. I think that's where understanding is. Like, if you have a totally different perception of the situation than I do,
yeah,
I want to talk to you. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't mind being wrong.
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can teach me something in the journey of whatever this is, and I'm wrong, I could be like, yeah, I'm wrong. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because it's not an ego thing.
Yeah.
It's actually a truth thing.
But you find that it is an ego thing for some of the people that you have these discussions with. Because sometimes I just sit and read, and I just go through all of them. I'm like, damn, why they so like? Why you tight? It's just his opinion versus your opinion. Let's agree to disagree. Like, or you're right, and I'm wrong.
But I think that's where the situation gets really thick, right? It's the human nature of admitting that you're wrong.
It's difficult. It takes a lot of maturity, a lot of experience, and I think having OGs and mentors, people that can kind of hold you accountable and check you when you're wrong, because the average person can't just, like, you're in a fraternity, so the average person that probably goes through life 20, 30 years old, if you throw him into a fraternity that you were in at 18, he's not, ain't nobody humbling this dude. Ain't nobody checking this dude because he feel like, yo, I got it figured out, man. What could you tell me? So, but as an 18-year-old, you're young, you're around older guys, and they're telling you, look, man, they break you down. They humble you. They show you discipline. They show you brotherhood. All right, okay. And that's stuff that's going to carry on with you throughout life. You can't tell a guy that, know what I mean? Like,
that's a very good point, because I find that a lot. I argue with the people, right, that haven't been part of a collective.
Yeah.
I argue with people that haven't been part of, and again, me being part of fraternity is very similar to me being part of a team concept. So I know that, if I'm a part of a basketball team or part of a fraternity, it's the same situation, because I don't necessarily agree with everything, you know what I mean, that my team or my fraternity may believe in.
Yep.
But I am humble enough to be like, you want to know what? You're right. Or if I feel as though you're wrong, I just don't partake.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And I think people don't understand that, either I don't necessarily have to participate, or I can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And we still can be cool.
And like I look at, like, I dig a little deeper when because like I study my opponent. I study whoever. So like if I'm debating a dude, I'll go to his page, right? I'll just look at some pictures. Like, man, look at this dude, man. Like, yo, like, we're talking sports. This dude's never, like, not to say that people who haven't played the game don't know about the game. That would be stupid to say. But there's just certain things that people who have played know and feel more than people who haven't. Some experience is everything, when it comes to that. You could read a book about education, right? And get your teacher certification.
Unless you've been in the classroom.
Yeah, you got to be in the classroom, bro. You got to be in the classroom. There's people, that it could be a paraprofessional, teacher assistant, that may know how to manage a classroom better than somebody who's just book smart or book educated.
You got the 6-year degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So so I look at guys, and then you look at some of the guys, and you go, all right, I get it. And I don't want to make it too personal with people, but it's like you can look and go, I see why this person is the way they are, why they respond, why they're so defensive. They may have a thing against people who were a part of a team, or maybe they got cut, or maybe they don't. A job can make you somebody with a voice, because some people who probably weren't popular, didn't have girls, wasn't a part of a sports team, they can go to school, get educated, get a nice ass job, make a lot of money, and feel like because I have this, or I'm at this status level, I can say what I want, and it matters. And no, that to me, that doesn't make anything you say valid. That's just a check. That's somebody you clocking in for, getting paid for. But there's a lot of people on social media. Like, there's people I went to school with that, weren't all that back in the day. But, they're doing well for themselves. They got jobs or whatever. And if you see them on social media, like, they got this certain aura about them, certain swag. Like, yo, man, like, I could talk about anything. Now, some people can't have conversations with me about certain things. I'm only going to talk to certain people about certain things. I'm not going to give that energy to everybody. So that's why I tone down as far as, like, just having basketball conversations with certain people on the internet. And I don't know everything about basketball, but I know it damn enough. So,
Yeah, I think that I think that's one of the biggest problems is individuals get a certain amount of clout or a certain title and feel as though because I had the lack of, I didn't have a voice when I was in middle school. I didn't have a voice when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. Now that I have a voice, I'm going to make everybody pay that wasn't rocking with me.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues because we're giving people with titles.
Yeah.
We're giving people with a little bit of social currency at this point. A little bit too much attention and a little bit too much weight in the culture. And it's just like, if you can't prove, even if you can prove to me that, you're about this life, then you can be wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can go talk. I've been in youth development for 20 plus years, right? Mm-hmm. And there's certain situations I come across where somebody who's not experienced as I am, they're right.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, you know what? I can learn off you. But
gotta be a sponge, man.
This situation is one of those situations where we're not allowing other people to teach us.
Yeah.
We're not open to having that dialogue and learning where we have a stance. And a lot of times it's a popular stance. And we're going to rock with that because it's popular. Mm-hmm. And we don't necessarily challenge ourselves to think differently.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that I feel, I'm like, hey, you know what? You're right. And there's a lot of people I think that are wrong, right? But they're not able to succeed. Like,
yeah, you can feel the anger and in some of the comments. You could just read it and be like, yo, this person's upset. Like they're really upset. Like he just threw something out there.
This is years worth of torment and anger.
And sometimes I go to stuff and I like the Kyrie thing. I went to the comments. I just want to see what people have to say. It's mind-boggling, dog, that there's just people that just want to go left sometimes. This dude just straight up explain what he's doing, why he's doing. Yeah. And you'll find something. It's like being a Democrat and a Republican. A Republican could rob a bank, right? Mm-hmm. And the Democrat could go on TV and say, hey, the Republican just robbed a bank. He robbed the bank blind in front of everybody. And we all seen it. A Republican could come on TV and say, he didn't rob the bank. That was his money inside the bank. And he went in there and he got it because no one told him that he was allowed to go in. So he brought his gun. Probably wasn't the smartest thing, but he did it. And, so it's justified. They'll come up with a story They won't just say Democrat.
And you know what? Before I let you rock with that whole, because it could be reverse, right?
Yeah.
It could be a Republican talking about a Democrat.
Absolutely. Vice versa.
Nobody. I think I was watching a situation where what's the show with all the NFL players? The NFL players.
Hard Knocks.
Nah, it's Marshall. Is Ocho Cinco.
The podcast thing.
Yeah, the podcast show. And he brought up a good point when they had Styles P on. Styles P said, I'm 180% negative, I'm 180% positive, right? I think the problem that we have with judging people that are out in the forefront is not understanding that we're flawed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could be totally fucking wrong.
Absolutely.
Right? And it takes somebody that's going to challenge me to understand that I'm wrong. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So I think us as human beings, we aren't at a situation where we can admit that we're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's very difficult, man. Look, look, even for me, it took me years to kind of like get that. And I think dealing with kids helped me understand that, because you have to tell them that they're wrong so many times, and then you have to put yourself in their shoes and understand that, all right, who am I to say that this person is wrong all the time? Like, I gotta kind of.
Sometimes these kids are fucking right.
And sometimes sometimes they're right. It's the adult in you saying, I can't be, this kid can't be right, and I can't,
Yeah.
And you gotta kind of see it and look at it and go, yo, this kid's right. I always tell my kids when they're right. Like, I'll get it wrong, I'll draw up a play, a kid will be like, no, the coach. And I'll be like, all right, then you got it, do it. And you were right, good call, boom. And that's just how you earn trust. You build, camaraderie, man. And that translates to everything, man. So definitely, a lot of people can't do that, man. It's very difficult. Yeah. It will debate you down to the T, like, and ever since analytics were brought into like sports, like that, now we're like, LeBron is 8 for 8 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left from the left elbow with three teammates that are all-stars who played 7 years.
That brings up a totally different point, right? Because I think that plays a very big part into what we're talking about, because we talk about believe the science, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that science is analytic statistics, right? And analytics and statistics can be skewed.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the worst lines of Jay-Z is, women lie, men lie, numbers don't. Numbers do lie if you're able to place them in the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
you can manipulate the numbers.
You can manipulate. So I think that a lot of us are falling for the manipulation of those numbers when we're talking about science and statistics.
Because I don't want to lose it. The people we were just talking about are the people who follow this new thing of science, the analytical piece. These are the people who we just talked about, the ones who can't be wrong, the ones who didn't have that clout as a youngster, grew up, now they have some social status, and those are the ones who argue that type of stuff and argue, those things more than people, who've been a part of a team, who kind of went through the grind, who had a little clout, still, maintain the clout, and, just that, at the same level, or maybe a little under, those people. So I just wanted to make that point as well.
Yeah, and I look at it like, those individuals that went through that process had to earn that clout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There wasn't a Ty Sullivan in ninth grade to be like, yo, fuck your play, I'm running my play.
Yeah.
Right? You couldn't do that because OGs, not necessarily saying they were better than you talent-wise, but they had a little bit more clout experience.
Yeah.
And they were like, nah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But once you get to a point where it's just like, maybe you were fucking right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you had to go through that process of being in a position where you can say, yo, that's wrong.
That's right? A fact, yeah.
We are giving individuals that never been through anything. that never been, you know what I mean, that never have went through the process of overcoming adversity, the right to tell me I'm right or wrong.
But I got a degree, and
Fuck
and I
your
own my own business, and I own my own business, and
Yeah.
you know, and this and that. So I can say this, you know.
And don't get me wrong, you can say whatever you want, right? But you're always in a position to be challenged.
Yeah.
And not necessarily by somebody with your credentials, but anybody, because anybody can be right or wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this situation and going a tad bit deeper. How does this affect the whole basketball landscape? Because now we have a top tier, and I'm going to say top tier as far as top 10 basketball player on the face of the earth. You can argue with me if you want, but I think Kyrie Irving is top 10 basketball player.
You know who would argue that though, right? Those people.
What? Who's those people?
The people we were just talking about. They will argue that he's
I thought you would say LeBron fans.
No. LeBron fans know what's up, man. They know Kyrie who he is. But go ahead, finish your point.
But top 10 basketball players on the face of the earth saying, I don't necessarily agree with this. You understand what I'm saying? I think it's a bigger issue with that, because it's just like, yo, now you have somebody at the top of their game, right? At the forefront of their profession saying, I don't agree with this. Even when LeBron said, you know what, I took the vaccine, but I can't knock anybody who doesn't. They had a problem with that.
And I don't think he took it, but they need look, here,
wait.
Take this check, bro.
And I'm gonna put it out there, right? I think a lot of these basketball players have enough money to be like, yo, doc, I gotta take this vaccine. I really don't want to take this vaccine.
Card, man. Throw me that card over there.
I really don't want to take this vaccine. But you want to know what? They won't know, because at the end of the day, you can still contract the vaccine, right?
Contract the virus,
you can still attract the virus without me taking the vaccine. Without. So, you know what? Just give me that card. I'll slide you another 10 G's, 15 G's, 20 G's, 50 G's,
That's
whatever.
what I would do.
Because it's a smart thing to do. Yeah, so I'm going to slide you that. So it makes it look like everybody's actually being compliant, but actually they're actually looking out for their best well-being with the resources that they have.
I love the fact that Kyrie's doing this while he's at the top of his game, because he's pretty much putting things at risk, you know. If it's somebody, you know, on their last leg, or a veteran,
it looks like clout chasing.
Yeah, you know, and it's different, because that's what they were trying to say about Cat. You know, he got cut, he lost his spot, you know, he's clout chasing. All right, so that's the argument there. Kyrie's always done this type of thing. So, like, I just really don't believe it's clout chasing. I believe it's a personal stance.
I don't agree with him most of the time. As far as...
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this situation, I actually rock with him, because I think it's that important. With the Kyrie situation, right? We have to look at how it affects the whole NBA landscape. We're talking about money. We're talking about gambling. We're talking about odds. We're talking about fans being in the seats, etc. and so on. I kind of think I know your answer, but how do you think that weighs on the decision of the general public? When we're talking about taking sides,
I think it helps people who may feel like they're being pressured to say, hey, nah, I don't want to take this. If someone asked me to make my team do it, I would say hell no. Or if I have players that feel like, coach, if let's just say the CIAC said all the kids had to be vaccinated, and my kid said, coach, I don't want to do it. It could be my best player. I would stand with him. And I think on that end, like I said, it takes the pressure off of people who feel like, you know, they may be pressured to do something that they don't really want to do. And on the other side, it's like, all right, this is a choice that you're making. You feel like it may be saving other people, it may be slowing the virus down. Like, I respect it. Like, there's some things where I feel like people on the other side are suckers or sellouts. I don't feel like you're that. I feel like you're making a personal decision because this virus has killed people. It has affected a lot of lives, and loved ones, elderly, young and old. So I get it. I'm just not and I've always kind of been like this, and my wife's like this too. Like, we just don't feel like vaccines are, for us. There's some things we had to take, leaving the hospital, when you're born, and there's some things once we were old enough to say no to, we said no to them. We try our best to sanitize, wipe, do all the things with, the proper precautions you have to take, so we don't come across the virus and we don't spread the virus or put ourselves in a position, to contract.
But if we learn from Osmosis Jones
That's a classic, man. People, y'all gotta watch Osmosis. That's a classic, man. Look,
I agree.
That's a jewel, man.
I agree. Osmosis Jones teaches us that we have to be in contact with some of these.
Because people, as soon as they took the mask off, right? People start getting sick. Like, you have to be around bacteria. Like, if you talk to any doctor, they'll tell you, like, that's how you become immune to it. So as soon as people start taking the mask off, everybody start getting colds, because now you're around natural bacteria. You touch the door handle, you walk across somebody,
faucet.
The faucet, and you get a cold. What happens? The cold is a virus. Your body fights off the virus, and you're immune to that virus. People don't understand. You never catch the same cold twice because you're immune to the one that you just passed through.
And it's just, I almost look at it like basketball, right? If I learn somebody's defense, if I learn somebody's offense, you know what I mean? It's pretty unlikely that they're going to beat me again unless they switch something up. And that changes their whole dynamic of their team. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not playing the same team. Yeah. So therefore, I'm susceptible to being beat by that team. And I always have to break it down to like basketball, because this is a fucking basketball podcast, right?
Absolutely.
So when I'm looking at it like that, you have to understand that, adversity makes stronger people. Not only spiritually, not only mentally, not only physically, but just all around, you know what I mean? It makes you a stronger person. But I think with this generation and how media works and how all this other shit works, it's trying to dispel that. That, you don't have to go through adversity to become strong. You understand what I'm saying? And I could go way deeper into different communities, different whatever.
You gotta look who's telling that story.
Yeah.
Who's telling that story? Because it ain't a person like me telling that story.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell the story of, adversity saved my life. Adversity made me the man that I am. You have to go through some tough times, man, because life is gonna throw some shit at you at some point. And if you've never been through any type of situation where you had to fight or you had to claw your way out of something, or you just had to like really push through, more than likely you're gonna quit, or you're gonna make an excuse on why,
Excuses are popular.
Yeah.
Excuses are popular.
And that's what we do. It's all in sports. A lot of parents, they make excuses for the kids now. And it's difficult, because I'm like, some of these parents play the game. And then I look at, I look and I go, what type of player were they? Let me go back. Okay, that was a play. The coach was the reason he didn't,
He didn't excel.
All right. So I get it now. Now he's feeding that and into his child. He or she's feeding that into her child. And I get it. I get why they're like that. Like I told you, my Kanye quote. I mean, like I ain't gonna say it, but
no, I want to hear it.
Nah, hater chicks marry hater dudes and have hater kids.
We needed that quote.
Nah, man,
so
so
you gonna leave that out the podcast?
I'm just saying. He said some other words, but I had to PG-13 it up. But that's pretty much what it is, man. You most of the time, your kids, it's a learned behavior. It's kind of some, especially when they're young and they're not old enough to make decisions on their own. You're instilling some of your values and things into them, so they have no choice but to kind of think like you and act like you until they're able to kind
Yeah.
of.
Well, not even till they're able, because all that what you learn at a very early age is what you keep. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was blessed enough to be in a situation where a lot of individuals, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
gave me the right game for the most part. For the most part, I'm
Yeah.
very flawed as an individual. So
We all are. We all are,
but
bro. We all
I
are.
can say for the most part, my foundation of integrity and values are
Yeah.
extreme. I think they're good. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't have that same foundation,
No.
and what you got from that foundation is what's going to actually manifest into who you are.
That's a fact.
So I don't know, man. But let's wrap this up, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at this landscape right now, 2021. What month are we in?
We're in October.
October. Now, how do you feel as though this is actually going to play out in the future? If you're Negrodamus, right? Let us let us know how this is going to play out in the future.
I think things are gonna go back to normal. I'm not gonna like take a political stance on the whole vaccine or what I feel like the government, whatever agenda they may be pushing. I'm not gonna harp into that. But I think at some point they'll lift the mandates, they'll lift the bans. We'll learn to live with this thing like we've learned to live with every other, disease or the pandemics that we've been through in the past, whether it was smallpox, Ebola, all that other stuff. We'll learn to live with it. Of course, there will be casualties. That's with everything. But I believe we're gonna learn to live with it, and we're gonna have to live with it. And this won't be the last pandemic. This won't be the last, virus or something that we haven't seen or heard of that's gonna affect the lives of people. I just hope that when we're 60 and 70 years old, it doesn't happen. And, now we're living with ailments that, if we contract this virus or we contract the COVID, it can affect our lives. You know what I mean? But I think the government is a business, so the show must go on. The show must go on. And the government lost a lot of money throughout the pandemic, but they also made a lot. Millionaires made a lot.
Yeah. It's just a shift.
They throw the crumbs to us, and we take the trap every time. They put ourselves in a deeper hole. A lot of people took these PPPs, right? It's a good thing. It's cool. It's funny. If you're not using it the right way, even if you don't go to jail, I don't think people are going to go to jail, and I don't want them to go to jail. But what you're doing is creating some more debt for yourself, some debt that you're not climbing out of. $20,000 debt that you're stuck in now.
Sounds
now you
like
gotta
student
pay.
loans.
Absolutely. So look, they found another loophole, bro, to trap us. Look, I own a LLC. I own a couple LLCs, and I didn't take out a PPP loan. My PPP loan would have been like $7,000, but and it's 1% or you don't have to pay it back. I didn't even take it out. Like I didn't, I just applied and see what I would get, and I'm like, nah, I don't need it.
You don't need it.
You know what I mean? So there's people that went and got that thing and they not gonna feel it until about 3-4 years, or when they about to get that house, or when they mature out of that phase and they want to start doing some adult things, and Uncle Sam go, nope, you owe.
You owe that.
So yeah.
Well, yo, I think this is a situation that we all have to actually deal with on a deeper level than just sports. But I think sports is a great barometer of understanding our paradigm, because if it doesn't go through sports, I don't think it exists. You understand what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people that don't know sports will probably push back on that. But hey, push back on it at the bottom of the comments, and I'll be sure to give you my take. We can go back and forth. Ty isn't really into that.
Yeah, I'm not going back and forth with you.
I could go back and forth with you. I got the time. But yeah. So with that being said, please smash that subscribe button. Definitely tune in Give us your opinion on what we're talking about. If we're full of shit, let us know. If we're right, let us know. If there's something that you want to see, let us know. But that concludes the podcast. Much love. This is Game Within a Game podcast. This is Kurt Flirt in the building.
And your boy Ty Sullivan checking out.
And we're out. Much love.
Know so many whose first love was hooping, whether locking down or spotting up and shooting, driving down the lane or crossing up and fooling, and never overlooking the hard work or schooling. Look, whether we talking about legends or talking current, don't never take for granted that all of them put the work in. No love on this court, despite the X and O's. Gotta play the game as if everything is old. Play until you tired, but don't let your weakness show. It's a game within a game, unlike what you've seen before.